Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is pretty laser focused. We are diving deep into that essential and, let's be honest, often painful balancing act between, explosive ambition and the critical wisdom of restraint.
A real tug-of-war.
It is, and this deep dive is custom tailored for you, focusing on the really dynamic, sometimes volatile energy of January 9th, 2026.
So let's get into the sources.
We are working today from a fantastic stack of sources, all provided by Tarot by High C.
Right.
Specifically, we've got the astrology of the day and its accompanying narrative, which is called The Forge That Learned Restraint.
A great title.
It really is. And if you want to check out their full offerings and get more context, you can find them at tarotbyhic.net.
So the central tension we're looking at today, it's just so dynamic. It's really all about how we define bravery. Is it just, raw, unthinking aggression? Or is it something more nuanced? Like, is it that meeting point where your genuine will connects with measured action?
I see. So it's the difference between moving from a deep sense of purpose versus just frantic, reactive agitation.
That differentiation changes everything. Absolutely everything.
And what leaps out immediately in the charts is this overwhelming sense of forward momentum.
Yeah, the desire to do it all now.
Exactly. But it's immediately coupled with friction, with resistance. It's like the engine is warring, but the brakes are starting to complain.
A perfect way to put it.
So let's unpack where that phenomenal drive is actually coming from.
Well, that intense forward surge is driven by a really powerful alignment. It's the Sun conjunct Mars.
Oh, okay. The big ones.
The big ones. The Sun is your ego, yourself, your drive to be seen, and it's fused directly with Mars.
Which is the engine, the aggression, the physical capacity for action.
Exactly. And when these two are in conjunction like this, your ambitions, they don't just feel like thoughts. They feel like undeniable commands.
Right. The ambition is just pure fire and courage. You feel genuinely empowered to make those hard decisions, cut through the resistance you've been facing. The analysis says this energy can carry us further than usual, which can lead to really positive results. But it's that fusion of ego and drive that's the danger.
Right. That's the danger. It can turn productive speed into just reckless impatience.
Yeah.
Precisely. Because the ambition is so visible, so aggressive, the primary challenge becomes controlling that impulsive action. The source material is very, very clear on this.
What does it say?
Driving ourselves too hard is not a sustainable path. It's just a fast track to burnout.
Okay, so what's the alternative?
The way to successfully harness this intensity and actually achieve much more in the long run is by channeling that force. You have to remain disciplined, commit to a solid step-by-step approach.
If you try to sprint the marathon, you crash.
You crash. Simple as that. But that begs a really interesting question, doesn't it? If Mara Vance, our protagonist in the StoryScope, if she had been entirely step-by-step, would she have even been promoted to chief optimization engineer in the first place?
That's a great point. Doesn't the source kind of suggest that a measure of that risk-taking, that refusal to extinguish the burn, was what was required for her initial success?
That's the nuance we have to capture. The fire is necessary, you're right, but the control has to be learned. Mara Vance, she oversees Heliox, which is basically this reactor-city's massive artificial star. They call it the Forge. She rose quickly because she was the one who could always push harder.
And the stakes here they're astronomical. The Forge powers everything. Orbital elevators, hospitals. This isn't just a small factory optimization.
No, this is life support for an entire civilization.
And she quantified that ambition. Her hard goal was a 12% output increase from the Forge.
Which is huge.
It's a massive attention-grabbing jump. And because of that Sun-Mars drive, she saw the recommended timeline, the safe one, as just bureaucratic weakness.
The protocol was 48 hours for a safe incremental load escalation. That's caution built right into the system. But Mara's ego, fueled by this feeling that only she knew best, it made her just slash that timeline. She ordered the phased escalation protocol in just 12 hours.
That's the perfect parallel for us, isn't it? That feeling of saying, I know I should pace this project over a week, but if I just cram, I can knock it out in one huge, exhausting, high-risk session.
It is. And the sources show the immediate consequence of that choice.
What happened?
Thinner safety margins, coils running way hotter than they should, and her entire team stretched until sleep became a luxury item. The whole system was running on fumes and willpower.
Wow.
So this raises the essential question for you, the listener. Are you leveraging your drive to achieve a critical goal, or has that drive morphed into an unsustainable hunger that is just consuming the reserves of your time, your health, and maybe even your team?
Right. That external pressure she created.
Yeah.
The 12% goal, the 12-hour deadline, that couldn't exist in a vacuum. You can't run the engine that hot without consequences.
And those consequences always show up internally. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That internal consequence, that emotional tug-of-war, is perfectly captured by our next major transit. Venus, opposite Jupiter RX.
Okay, let's break that down.
Venus governs our needs for comfort, pleasure, stability. And Jupiter, well, Jupiter magnifies whatever it touches.
And it's retrograde.
And retrograde, it often exaggerates our emotional and our material needs.
So this alignment heightens the emotional need for comfort and safety. But because Jupiter's magnifying it, it often leads to a desire for, like, too much comfort.
Exactly. An immediate and sometimes financially risky overindulgence. It becomes hard to know where the line is between necessary self-care and just plain excess.
It's that quality versus quantity battle.
That's it. And this energy often manifests in this pressure to overgive and overextend ourselves emotionally.
How so?
We feel intensely pulled between our demanding duty and our desperate need for comfort. It's often driven by these old patterns of guilt or responsibility. We start taking on more because we feel like we should be the one fixing things or buying things or saying yes to everyone.
Which brings us right back to Mara. She was burning out her team, and she was also unconsciously burning through her own private resources trying to manage her stress.
Mm-hmm. The story details how her private account was just draining steadily.
From what?
Automated orders for comfort credits? These were like automated deliveries of high-end nutrient packs, mood enhancers, advanced sleep aids. The system had learned her exhausted habits a little too well.
Wow. That's a classic Venus-Jupiter shadow pattern, that kind of self-soothing spending.
It is, but the emotional root is even deeper. Mara's internal monologue connects this directly to a memory of her mother.
Okay.
Her mother was perpetually counting ration shits, always saying yes to the neighbors, and visibly shrinking while she carried everyone else's load.
That's the core realization for us, isn't it?
That's it. You are allowed to want more for yourself without carrying everyone else's burden. And you need to notice where you say yes out of habit or guilt rather than conscious choice.
And speaking of excess, that Venus-Jupiter opposition is notorious for tempting us with financial splurges.
Oh, yes. The temptation to jump on an amazing deal or make a large impulsive purchase.
Justifying it as necessary for our comfort or progress.
It's incredibly strong. And this is why the source material really emphasizes diligent research and a wise budget as key defenses right now.
And we see Mara demonstrate this, a powerful moment of discipline against her own instinct for a quick fix.
Yes, she's tempted. She gets a special limited time offer for these experimental efficiency modules.
A seemingly easy way to hit her 12% goal.
Exactly. But this time, instead of instantly ordering them, she makes that measured choice. She commands her system. Run due diligence.
And that pause saves her.
It does. She discovers the modules were fundamentally flawed. Their advertised gains were inflated, and the catastrophic failure rates were just being ignored.
That is the beautiful lesson in that moment. Her ambition didn't just disappear.
No.
But that Sun-Mars drive was, for a moment, subordinated to wisdom. She checked her expectations against reality.
Realizing that chasing the quick 12% gain through shoddy means would have ultimately caused an even greater loss down the line.
That moment of checking reality, it feels like it prepares us for the climax of this whole deep dive, where the internal friction becomes an external crisis.
Yes, and this shift happens under the difficult light of the Libra moon square Mercury.
Okay, another tough one.
It is. The Libra moon wants balance, harmony. Mercury wants to rationalize, to communicate, to explain logically.
And a square means they're at odds.
They're fighting. So what you feel emotionally and what you can articulate logically are just not lining up. This is where what we feel may not translate easily into words.
So trying to force a conversation or explain your feelings.
It only makes the resistance stronger.
Okay.
It's a moment where you have to step back and truly listen. That's the only path forward.
And in Mara's situation, that resistance, it arrives violently.
It does. Her aggressive 12-hour protocol causes a failure point. The containment ring on deck 7 flares white hot.
A containment breach is imminent, which in the context of an artificial star means...
catastrophic failure for the city.
Right. So her initial ingrained impulse, that Sun-Mars drive, is to race to the manual override.
To apply brute force. to burn through the resistance just like she had always done to get ahead.
That's the moment of choice.
That's it.
Yeah.
Will she revert to frantic agitation, or will she choose measured purpose?
And here is where the transformation takes place. She still demonstrates immense courage. She runs the risk of manual intervention. Her action is still firm.
But it's measured.
It's measured. She refuses the instinct to force the outcome. Instead of forcing the full override, she orders incremental dampening, 5% drop, then hold.
That order is the quiet thunder of restraint.
I like that, quiet thunder.
It's a calculated step back. She willingly reduces the very output gains she had been risking everything for, trading that unsustainable peak for stability.
And the source material notes this, right? That this use of restraint felt like a muscle she had neglected, now burning with unfamiliar use.
Exactly. It's an unfamiliar kind of strength. The work to stabilize the forge was slow, it was precise, it required patience.
None of the grand, decisive, ego-driven gestures she was known for.
And that is the distinction. Discipline instead of force. Care without self-sacrifice.
So the ultimate synthesis of this deep dive is right there.
It's right there. Courage isn't the absence of fear, and it's not the absence of ambition either. It's the conscious choice of measured action in the face of immense pressure.
The ambition that propelled her upward is still alive.
It's still there, but it's now tempered by wisdom, by sustainability.
And the final metric proves it. The success of that measured choice. She didn't hit the 12% peak she was chasing.
No, she didn't.
The sustainable result she achieved was a solid 6.8% output increase.
And the story concludes that weeks later, Heliox now glows wiser, shifts are shorter, and the budgets are balanced.
She didn't get more, she got better.
That's it, perfectly put.
So, what does this all mean for you as you move forward? This deep dive shows us that when high drive is active and high desire is being magnified, it creates a really volatile mix. A mix that must be managed by methodical care and restraint, especially when emotional communication feels fraught and difficult.
I think the most important nugget for you to take away is that fundamental shift in mindset. Moving from chasing simply more to seeking what is sustainable.
Right.
Mara Vance's journey, from that 12-hour reckless push to the controlled 5% dampening, it shows us exactly how to navigate this energy.
She realized she still wants to achieve great things.
But, crucially, she refuses to carry the world alone to get it. And that is the definition of achieving balance without sacrificing ambition.
We saw Mara transition from chasing a goal that screamed for attention, that risky 12% peak, to accepting one that settled into a sustainable, consistent curve at 6.8%.
Yeah.
So here's the thought I want to leave you with. What is the difference between achieving a result that screams and achieving a result that allows your life or your system to glow wiser? That is something powerful for you to mull over or to explore on your own.